All right, you guys, let's talk about gut health today. Specifically, the fancy gut health supplements. Ooh, hot topic. So let's really hone in on probiotics, pre and probiotics. Everyone needs a probiotic, right? You take a probiotic for your gut health, right? Oh, you need your probiotics, right? Do you? Do you? Well, first, let's back up a little bit. Why do we even need them? Why do people even take them? So we have a lot of little baby microorganisms. We can call them your microbiome, your flora, whatever you want in our gut. They're alive. It's alive. They need fed. They feed off of the food we eat. Some of them also are provided by the food that we eat, depending on the types of things that you enjoy. And basically, our gut microbiome is best kept in a nice balance. We have really good, healthy bacteria. We have other bacteria that's not as good and healthy, but it's just going to be in there anyway. We want everything in a nice balance. We don't even want too much of the good bacteria because that's too much. You can have too much of a good thing. I mean, have you ever had too many Girl Scout cookies? I have. They're good, but not that much. So you can have too much of a good thing. You can also have too much of a bad thing. So our microbiome in our gut is constantly changing and fluctuating depending on what we're eating, our life stressors, or we're eating and we're drinking, all of that. So when we take a supplement, it impacts our flora, both the good and the bad. So a lot of people really start leaning into thinking maybe you need a probiotic if you're not pooping regularly, or you're just your gut feels funny. Maybe you're bloated a lot after you eat. It's more than like I ate a big meal. You're just like you're very bloated, or maybe your farts smell funny. Ugh. Maybe you have heartburn. Weird things are happening. You're like, something's going on. Ah, I'm gonna take a probiotic. It's gonna fix everything. It could, maybe not. So when we take a probiotic and we are bringing in more bacteria into our flora, we are leaning on the assumption that our healthy bacteria is underrepresented and we have no overgrowth of any bad bacteria. Because when we bring in a probiotic, we bring in more bacteria, more live organisms, and then the food we eat feeds them. We can't only feed the good stuff and not feed the bad stuff. So when people are very quick to bring in, you got your prebiotics, prebiotics, I can say it, they feed our probiotics. Our prebiotics are the food. The probiotics are the bacteria, the live cultures. We need both. So the issue comes in when we have all of those aforementioned gut health or bowel issues. We regularly say, I'm going to take this probiotic. And that's the only thing we change. Usually it's like, I'm going to take this and this probiotic, add in this greens powder. I'm going to bring in this prebiotic rich food. I'm going to start drinking kombucha, eating sauerkraut, bringing in kefir milk. We're going to bring in, what's it called? Kimchi, lots of Greek yogurt, you kind of throw everything in the kitchen sink at it. So if something bad happens, what if your symptoms get worse? What was it? Was it the first probiotic or the second probiotic? No, it was the greens powder. No, it was all the sauerkraut I've been eating. It was definitely that. You have no idea. So it is not wrong to say, you know what, I'm going to bring in a probiotic. I feel like my gut health hasn't been great. Maybe you just got off an antibiotic and you know what Google is, and you Googled what to do when you get off an antibiotic, and Google told you, or the ChatGPT told you time to bring in a probiotic. Cool. Bring in one good probiotic. Take it for a bit and see. Trying something in isolation is totally fine. Totally fine. Maybe you were just on an antibiotic and it just wiped out, obliterated a lot of bacteria, good and bad. It did its job. We want to reinactivate the good stuff. Let's take a probiotic for 3-4 months and then you can get off of it. No problem. You might feel great after. Win. That's great. That is how you use it properly. The issue is when you either bring in too many things to even know what is helping, what's hurting. But if you bring in a probiotic and you're doing it the right way, you only bring in a probiotic and all of your symptoms get worse. It's happened. That is likely an indication that you have an overgrowth of some bacteria in your GI system, whether it's good or bad. To be determined. You don't want too much of a good thing or a bad thing. But if you have an overrepresentation of some dysbiotic bacteria in your gut, and you take a probiotic and you start eating a bunch of prebiotic foods, the bacteria that's already overgrown is going to continue to gain speed. Cool. Not at all. So there is nothing wrong with a probiotic. They can be worth it, but for some, it is actually worthless to take it. If you're going to bring a probiotic into your diet just to be healthy, bring in one and just see how you feel on it. And I typically recommend cycling it. I learned this from a good friend and my mentor who's a registered dietitian, is you don't need to be on the same probiotic and just take it forever indefinitely. You should cycle it. A couple months on, a couple months off, a couple months on, a couple months off, if you feel like it's going to complement your diet. If you eat a diet that is very rich in natural sources of pre and probiotics, easy way to say, do I do that? Do you eat the rainbow? Do you have purple and red and green and white and yellow and orange all represented pretty regularly on your plate? You're pretty familiar with the produce section. You got some Greek yogurt in there. You got some of that like kimchi or some of that sauerkraut. Like you're doing all of those things. You probably don't even need a probiotic. For you, it is probably worthless if you feel genuinely good and you have a very produce forward, minimally processed diet. You need a probiotic. Save your money. Buy some shoes or something. If your diet leans heavily on convenience food, you're trying to make the best choices you can, but you're just busy as shit right now and you're doing the best you can, produce just is not as frequent as you would like it to be, great, then you would probably benefit from a probiotic, cycling it in and out. So not everybody needs one just because it's healthy, but it could be part of a very healthy diet depending on how regularly you're able to go to the grocery store and get some fresh produce. The issue comes in when someone's having issues going to the bathroom. Maybe you don't go very frequently, or you pretty much shit liquid lava. I mean, I said it, it's fine. If your stools are unfavorable, infrequent, too frequent, you're having a lot of issues, you may or may not need a probiotic. There's nothing wrong with trying it all by yourself and seeing, but only bring in one and pay attention. It may make you feel better. It may literally have the opposite effect. I do recommend if you are having serious long-standing issues in that department, you work with a qualified practitioner to help you with things like that. But some people will benefit immensely from bringing a probiotic into your life if you do not eat that much plant-based food products. If you do, you probably don't even need a probiotic. If you have something going on, it's a crapshoot if it's going to actually help you or not. But just please be leery of the ads that you see online, the sponsored things for like healthy gut powder this and whatever that, when in reality, if you have an overrepresentation of some microorganism in there, there's a very good chance that powder is going to do nothing but feed it and help it grow even larger. So just be an informed consumer, ask questions, and as always, please let me know if you have any questions for me by dropping a comment underneath this video on whichever platform you are watching. And again, please follow me on all of the platforms. You can find me on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on YouTube as Dr. Hannah Brandt. Then you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram. My handle has changed. I am officially Dr. Hannah, drhannah.health coach. So please come say hi. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.